What's up, YouTube? It's your boy James to the O. I'm still on that Dr. J, Julius Erving statement about he's saying that LeBron started super teams. Something that I disagree with. Again, if you go back to the era before Dr. J, that Laker team and that Boston Celtic team were loaded full of Hall of Famers for the most part. So you had Jerry West, you had Wilt Chamberlain, and you had Elgin Baylor. You had three superstars on one team. But I guess that's not a super team either. You got Wilt Chamberlain on your team. You wanna know what the sad part is? They didn't even win together a title. Elgin Baylor retired. Then they turned around and won a championship in LA. So Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and that team that was loaded full of Hall of Famers, that's not a super team either. Now, some people like to say, well, because they were drafted by that team and they stayed there and they eventually became what they are, that don't justify them being a super team. Some people use that argument, that angle. I don't. You had Charles Barkley, you had Hakeem Olajuwon, and Scottie Pippen. Three superstars on one team. Only one of them was drafted by Houston. The other two wasn't. Is that a super team too? This before LeBron. What about the Lakers? Again, Showtime Lakers. I think they had 5 Hall of Famers on that team. Superstars. The big three, Magic, Kareem, and Worthy, Hall of Famers. Bob McAdoo and Wilkins. They had 5 of them. Lakers ran the league in the 80s. The Showtime Lakers in the 1980s. Were they a super team too? Or not really? What about the 2007-08 Boston Celtic team? Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett. Was that a super team too? We got 3 Hall of Famers on one team. The only one who was drafted by them was Paul Pierce. So my whole thing of LeBron start the super teams and all this and that, that's blasphemous. That ain't true. So I just explained why it ain't true. Before LeBron was even born, super teams were formed and made. They just wasn't called super teams at the time. Now in this day and age, they calling that stuff super teams. Brooklyn Nets got 5 All-Stars over there. Future Hall of Famers. So I asked somebody, is Brooklyn Nets a super team now? This year? It was like, yeah, they are. Oh, okay. They got more than enough. One person told me 3 future Hall of Famers on one team, plus this team around you, all that constitutes a super team. But they want to justify Golden State Warriors not being one simply because Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson were all drafted by Golden State. So when you want to have that, go ahead, you can have that. But that Boston Celtics 08, only one guy was drafted out of 3 by Boston. The other 2 were traded there. And Kevin Garnett had a no-trade clause. And he still got traded to Boston. So I'm going, well, how is it that some people like to say Boston Celtics wasn't a super team? They'll say that simply because, well, one guy told me about their ages, 32 and 33 years old, of Pierce, Garnett, and Allen. Like, they ain't in their prime at that age. They was on their way out. What? That is blasphemous too. So LeBron in Cleveland was 33 years old in 2018, 2017. And he was still the best player in the league. So I guess he was out of his prime too at 33. So Steph Curry shooting lights out like he normally do at age 33. He's out of his prime too, right? Makes no sense. And Kevin Garnett won Defensive Player of the Year that year as soon as he joins Boston. First team All-NBA, first team defensive team, but he's out of his prime. He's on his way out. People that are out of their primes on their way out don't make first team All-NBAs. They be out for the most part. But that was their first year there together in 08, and they walked away with the title. 2016, Cleveland was a super team. Then one guy told me, well, he had 2 other All-Stars alongside him. They won a title. I said, wait, hold up. 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron was the only All-Star for Cleveland that year in 2016. He was the only one to make an All-NBA team that year. And they won a title in 2016, the same year. Interesting. So is the Lakers 2020 a super team? They only had 2 stars, LeBron and Anthony Davis. I don't think that qualifies as a super team if it's supposed to be 3 or more stars on one team. Future Hall of Famers, whatever you want to call it. I give people a pass about Golden State simply because they big 3 was drafted by Golden State. I give you that. The draft investment, it worked out. A lot of people like to say that don't qualify. But the other teams I mentioned, they qualified. Back in the day and now. So Julius Erving, I disagree with you, sir. You're a great player, Hall of Famer. LeBron did not start super teams. They were formed and made all that before he was even born. And when he was a little baby in diapers, and then his generation. So he didn't start it. And Golden State, when they added Kevin Durant, that was a super team. They added another superstar player who was second best in the league behind LeBron at the time in 2017 and in 18. Kevin Durant was there for both those years. Super teams or not. Let me know what you think about if LeBron started super teams or not. Tell me what you think. Like, comment, share, subscribe to this video. Comment down below. Be more happy to read your comments.